Welcome to the LXD Guild podcast, where we bring you the latest insights, trends, and breakthroughs in the world of learning and development. Today, we are diving into the world of gamification and very interesting topic in the world of e-learning, isn't it? To kick things off, let's start with a big question. Why do you think gamification has become such a buzzword in e-learning? This is Sandeep, your host today. And if you're watching this podcast for the first time, so I'm the founder of LXD Guild, along with the co-founder Krishna. We have completed 2 years this August, and we are very happy and joyful to contribute to our learning and development professionals in the best manner which we can. So I would like to welcome our speakers or guest speakers today to quickly introduce themselves.
So, hi Sandeep. Thank you for inviting to this podcast. I am an L&D professional for like more than 16 years now, and my focus area is learner engagement in the L&D space, and that's where I'm focusing on gamification part of it. So, yeah, that's why we are going to talk about gamification today. Yeah,
Welcome, Meena.
thank you.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Hi, Sandeep. It's always great to be on this podcast with the LXD Guild, and I'm very happy the way LXD Guild is progressing. And I am Sneha Kesari, and I am an instructional design consultant with experience in teaching, facilitation, learning and development, and a whole lot of performance improvement things with an experience of over 20 years. My niche is like instructional writing, needs analysis, and project management. Thank you.
Thank you, Sneha. Very glad to have you here with us.
Hey Sandeep, this is my first podcast with you, and I'm very excited about it. So my name is Aakash, and you already know that I'm a learning experience architect, and I have around 14 years of experience in field of learning and development. My take on courses and you know, or you can say L&D stuff is that how to make things simple and easy, so as learners consume it and retain it for a longer duration. And that's where we hit the nail with gamification, and I guess we are here for that.
Thank you, Akash. Great to have you as well. So I think just let us give a quick brief to why we are hosting this podcast. So yeah, it's not secret because Meena has posted it on LinkedIn. So they had a wonderful discussion, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. Like, okay,
Yeah.
what is this gamification? Maybe how we can introduce that or use it as part of our learning development. So that is where I thought, yeah, why can't we go ahead and get the talk on a podcast? Let me start with a question. What is it about gamification that makes it so appealing for both learners and the designers?
So let me take that up. As you know, I dropped this article with the help of Sneha. So let me take that up. What brought me, here and writing that article. So Sandeep, we all would agree to the fact that we have done a lot of content dump kind of content development in the space of e-learning. So we would agree to the fact also that in that case there was a lot of challenge leading to learner engagement because the information was there, the content was there, but learners were not getting engaged with the content. So that's where I think gamification came in and changed the game actually of the learning space, right? So
Yes.
what makes gamification so appealing is that the kind of instant motivation, reward, or maybe challenge that it brings into the picture. And for designers, it's like huge opportunity to bring their creativity, their knowledge, skill, experience, whatever they have learned it so far, to bring it on the table and show it. This is what e-learning can look like. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I see. Yeah. So it's already become a buzzword as we are seeing that. And as we talk, are having DevLearn 2024 happening. along with a few more meetups or conventions in US. Gamification experts are already presenting how it is changing the landscape of learning, right? So I got a question here. If one of you can share how it goes, right? Creating a gamified learning experience definitely sounds exciting. No doubt about it. But what you think is one of the biggest challenges when we go for designing this gamification?
Yeah, I'll take this up, Sandeep. So, great question because I look at it from a perspective of like when we were students as well. Our experiences were gamified, and you would all remember when we were at school, we were learning as we were students, we were getting points, badges, and whatnot, all sorts of rewards and awards that we our teachers used to provide us for motivation so that we'd excel. There were class-wise leaderboards, the all sorts of boards that we have in our classrooms, and the points were given for everything that we did. And then there was a school leaderboard, so we would get it for annual function work. We would get it when we had achieved like inter-house competitions, when we were divided into like 4 to 5 houses in the school. And then I had written about it because I very much relate to it, and that has, that perspective developed, and I started understanding gamification from that perspective, because our goals were tied to the learning, our goals were tied to the performance. And here comes the challenge when the performance, when the see we are corporate professionals, and we have to actually cater to the business. Everything is about the business, we have to make the business great. But if these business goals are not tied to these learning objectives, to the performance objectives, then it's not really worth it. Points and badges are all fine, it will be there because the leaderboard element will always be incorporated into the gamification. But we have to align it with some goals. There should be a target, and every objective has a purpose tied to it. That is why we take it to that level, and then we see the others, the professionals performing, and that is why, that is how we know that they did well. So here, objective is a very big aspect of the gamification.
Got it. Thank you. Thank
And
you for that insight, Sneha.
yeah, I wanted to add a little more on that part. So there are two parts in this. One is the the storyboarding from an ID level, and the other is the technical side, which is the learning management system. So sometimes we feel that the ID has done their bit. The course is being produced in a way, but what happened? There are limitations with learning management systems, or we can call LMS these days. And the thing is that they don't offer those badges or frequent point systems, which actually are the motivating part. What Sneha said. So we need to have that balance as well. First, we need to understand the whole technical side of LMS, and based on that, we need to create a story and the structure and the whole storyboard. So I
Mm,
feel that's also a crucial point when we talk about what's the challenge. So
yes.
that's a take from me.
Yes, thank you, Akash. Thank you, Sneha and Akash, for adding what is the difficult part of it. But what I see is, yeah, I get a chance to look at multiple LMSs, which are, and now, yeah, you can see, you start hearing about LXPs, right? The learning experience platforms. And the latest, what I am getting to see is again, LCMS, Learning Content Management System. So,
System.
see, these are evolving, and now, yeah, you can't talk AI without any of these, right? I got another discussion point here. We were talking about storyboarding, right? And when we talk that in the context of gamified course, how does it differ from the traditional e-learning storyboarding? And if you can share, like, what are those additional flavors or layers which you need to consider?
Need to understand that gamification has game like elements, which are like leaderboard and reward system, badges, all those kind of maybe levels are there, right, in a gamified interaction. So we need to first understand the features of the LMS, and taking that into account, we need to have some extra layers of how the gamified module will look like in the sense that what is the mechanics of this game like element. gamified module, and what will be the progression path, how the learner is going to progress through the course, what will be the levels, or maybe how the rewarding system may be, and how the feedback system is going to work into that gamified module, taking into account the understanding of the LMS that your organization is adapting to, and then understanding what you can offer is very crucial at this stage in the storyboarding level of it. So me and Sneha had this long 1 hour discussion regarding this, which was, I think, very fruitful. So thanks, Sneha.
Yeah. Thank you, Meena. So I just can understand like there are 3 points which you were trying to put across here: the game mechanics, the feedback, and the progression side of things, right? So
Right.
that's really, I think, the layers which pull together the output which is required. Yes.
Yeah.
So you mentioned game mechanics. So that is also a key layer as part of the storyboard. Can you break down what kind of game mechanics are the most effective in e-learning?
Yes, let me take that up, Sandeep. So, when we talk about game mechanics, and if we go with the simplest approach, we will see the points, levels, feedback system, badges, and if it is a scenario based learning, well and good, what's better than that to explain something in a very effective format. So, these are all very necessary to have. But when we deep dive into these points, levels, badges, and feedback, we will understand that just giving a feedback of this is good, this is nice, or you are right is not really effective in terms of gamification only. We will have to somehow adjust a very good feedback there which is useful, which makes the learner understand what was right and what they did was right. So it can be written in precise manner. It doesn't have to be a long feedback, but if it comes instantly, it has a constructive approach to it, it will be more effective. Letting them know where they have reached in their process of learning or training, the milestone that we can show with the help of levels. We want to take the professionals to a certain level. For example, they should know what is the most important or the compliant thing that they have to take up, what is it about security that they have to know. When they progress through levels and the levels have a very effective verbiage, then that makes sense to them where they are going.
Right.
Effective verbiage, it's very, very
Mhm.
important to be written there. They
Good.
know what they have achieved, what they have accomplished, and it will be rewarding for them.
I'll give you a real life example. If you remember the childhood game Super Mario, so whenever he used to climb the flag, it used to give a
Yes.
feedback. Your princess in another castle. So actually, so actually, that's what motivated him that I need to cover up another level. Along with that, once he receives the flag, he gets the points and all the level ups and everything. So on the same lines, that mechanics needs to be there, and Sneha correctly said about that.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, that is where the progression, and also it's more like you need to get something for what you're doing. Anybody wants to add to that, or any other experience which you had?
So I would like to take up this on the progression of the gamified module. So I believe your progression at a storyboard level is
Yes.
like it defines the base of your entire course. How
Mm.
the learner is going to progress through the course, how you are defining levels, how each level is going to be unblocked for the learner, and what will be the
Yes.
criteria for the level to be unblocked. How are we going to
Yeah.
define that criteria makes a
Mm.
lot of takes into account lot of understanding of the content. It takes into account
Yes.
that how each level is going to meet the learning objective that we are trying to
Right.
cater to.
Right.
So understanding of the mapping the learning objective to the level, and then defining each level and how that level is going to be cleared. So maintaining these three aspects of, progression path is very critical, which I believe IDs has a, big task to, take care of. So
Accomplish as
yeah,
well.
so
Yes.
yes.
Okay, thank you,
So
Meena. Challenges, rewards are the powerful motivators, but they need to be well thought of. So, what type of challenges work best in a learning environment, and how do you ensure that rewards feel meaningful?
Interesting question, and actually very important for everyone who is looking forward to applying gamification in their training. Please set up realistic challenges. Challenges that your professionals are actually facing. And you see it every day, whether it is about communication, whether it is about engagement, whether it is about taking your business to a higher goal. Make your gamification module around the challenges that you are facing. If it is about communication, it has to be how everyone's role has to be aligned to the business. Rewards and everything is very important. For example, if you're giving badge, badge, the verbiage in the badge has to be very effective. Its verbiage should make sense. The person has achieved, or what the players have achieved together as a whole. That should make sense. That should be genuine, and it should be structured, designed in such a way that it all makes sense and actually tied to the goals, the learning objectives, training objectives, performance objectives, whatever objectives you call it. Gamification just for the sake of gamification is really not good, because you will only be wasting the professionals time who are actually looking forward to doing something about the business. They
You're
should not
right.
get distracted out of it.
You're right. Yeah, games can be distractive too. And yeah, not every games are liked by everyone, right? So I think we need to keep in mind who is our target audience to ensure that whatever the effort is put in the form of gamification is met. Thank you, Sneha. How do we make sure gamified courses stay aligned with serious learning goals?
I'll take that. And as correctly said by Meena and Sneha, that we need to align goals and objectives to the course, and at the end, that's what is main and crucial. But there is another hidden element in it, and that's element is they might achieve the goal or they might achieve the objective, but how are they exactly applying in their day-to-day life?
Hmm.
So application part is also very important. I might have gone ahead and done a course, achieved 1000 X points, or but those points are clueless till the time I'm actually applying those in my real life while I'm working.
Yes,
So that's the main thing. Gamification for me, it's just a mean or mode or tool where people are actually, taking the
learning.
course. A kind of, I can say, for a movie, there is always a poster, then a teaser, then a trailer, and then finally movie comes,
Yes,
right? On the similar lines, when we talk about gamification, it is not more towards how look and feel or objectives and goals are there. It's more towards when you have actually watched the movie or
yes,
actually played the game. You know, how are you taking it back home? How are you applying it? And that's what, is crucial for me. And that's the hidden element. So that's the take on me. What's crucial? This is crucial. What you're taking back home.
yes. Thank you, Akash. That's really insightful. That's really a wonderful thought there. Coming to the final question, any final thoughts or advice for designers who want to start experimenting with gamification in their ongoing or upcoming e-learning projects?
my 2 cents would be that, as Neha mentioned this earlier, like, don't do it for the sake of doing it. you know so we have, since we are into corporates, we are dealing with adult learners. So please take care of their intellectual, desires. They want to be challenged. They want to have, autonomy on the content, right? So don't just feed in for the sake of, feeding in. Just don't have the gamification elements for the sake of having them.
Yes,
Just focus on, adult learning principles that we say. They have higher intellectual desires, that they want to, be challenged.
yeah,
have an autonomy, how they want to navigate through the course, you know, and the right amount of difficulty levels. Like
Right.
for instructional designer, this is one of the tasks, that, you know, understanding their learners and
Great.
aligning them with business goals is very important. So don't do it for the sake of doing it, but, you know, use it judiciously. The fun element, we don't want to, you know, do have fun all the times in the learning.
Yes.
We need to have sometimes serious learning as well. Thank you.
So, yes, and then taking it forward from Meena, who will tell you about it? The feedback from the learners, the takers of that gamification module, they will tell you whether it was effective for them. And then Akash said you have to learn from them whether they were able to apply it from their on their job. Their managers will tell you that they were able to apply it on their job. So set up a feedback mechanism,
Yes.
set up a system like that, and do care about the measurement as well, whether it was effective, whether they were able to apply it on their job as well.
Feedback matters. Otherwise, your game, you don't know it is going to be a hit or a flop.
So,
Yeah.
Correct.
game or no game.
I'll quickly summarize, with a very famous quote, with great powers come great responsibility. So, it should be like with great gamification, learnings and objectives should also be taken care of. And
Yes.
as Meena said, we need to always follow the basics of ID, what, why, how,
Mm.
and finally applying it. And again, the cycle goes back once we have the feedback from the end users.
Right.
So, that's how the whole cycle follows, and
That's
that's
great.
how I would like to summarize it.
Yes. Thank you, Akash, for putting it all together. We are launching a leaderboard for all those who contribute to the platform, be it in a way of an article or a blog post. So you are going to see and get your badges too. Welcome to gamification on LXDVerse as well. So I think this really was very engaging. A lot of concepts, a lot of insights, a lot of quotes, experiences shared. Thanks to all our co-hosts for their insights today. And thank you to all our listeners for tuning in and listening to what we got to share with you. And we hope you found this discussion on gamification inspiring and insightful. And until next time, as LXD Guild, we strongly believe keep learning, keep innovating, and keep